Hi everybody. So today I thought I would do a video blog post. Basically it's just quicker than writing out all the instructions and hopefully a little bit more interesting because you can see exactly what I used for my liver flush. I've done 15 liver flushes, so I'm a bit of an old hand at it now. I would recommend that you read thoroughly about it before you decide to do one. It takes commitment, it is not something to be undertaken lightly, and you have to take responsibility for the results that you get and for doing it carefully and following instructions. So I would recommend that you get yourself a copy of this book. It's available on Amazon. You don't have to get this version. This is the newest version, and it goes into more detail about various conditions that liver congestion can lead to, but there are simpler versions available and you can get a second-hand copy quite cheaply. Okay, so I've done 15 of these things. You kind of need a weekend really to do it and also to recover from it. So if you've got kids, get the parents or parents-in-law to do some, get the grandparents or the grandparents-in-law rather to do some babysitting for you so you can have some free time. Okay, so the first thing you do is you have to take something to soften the stones in your liver. And these are the little cholesterol and bile stones that accumulate in the liver ducts. We call them stones. Some of them are calcified. The ones that are fully calcified you tend to find in the gallbladder. The others tend to be softer stones. That was annoying. Okay, so going back to the days before you do the flush, you have to take a stone softening ingredient. Andreas Moritz suggests that you either drink a litre of apple juice every single day for 6 days. However, if you don't want to take all that sugar, I know that that doesn't really agree with me, so I do something a little bit different. So you can either do a litre of apple juice for 6 days, or you can take some raw apple cider vinegar. You're looking for something that contains malic acid, and the malic acid is the thing that will soften the stones and enable them to be passed more easily when you do your flush. If you do apple cider vinegar, you take 4 tablespoons every day, spaced out throughout the day, in some water, and the apple cider vinegar is probably best if you get the raw stuff. So if you go to your health food shop and ask for raw or unpasteurized apple cider vinegar, they'll give you something that looks a bit like this. If you don't get on well with apple cider vinegar, some people don't get on well with that because it's aged, you can also take malic acid powder. So this is what I take. Other versions are available, of course. So this is malic acid powder, and you would take about 5 grams, about a heaped teaspoon of that spread throughout the day. So you could put like 1/4 of a teaspoon in some water and then have another 1/4 of a teaspoon a few hours later, and so on and so forth throughout the day until you've taken an entire teaspoon. Okay, so you do that for 6 days, and then on the 7th day you take all of your malic acid, apple cider vinegar, or your whatever stone softening ingredient you're using in the morning, and you have a fat and protein-free breakfast. Okay, so that's quite important. If you eat any fat or protein, you will not only ruin, potentially, the results of your flush, you could also make yourself feel pretty sick. So the idea behind having a fat and protein-free breakfast is that you are allowing the bile to build up in the liver, and the bile is what you need in sufficient quantity and concentration in order to contract the liver and flush out the stones. You also then have a fat and protein-free lunch. So this would include any foods like vegetables, steamed vegetables, plain rice, fruit. Sometimes I have beans, It's pretty plain, it's not terribly filling, but it just about keeps you going. So you have that, you finish eating by 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the very latest, and then you fast for the rest of the day. Then it comes to 6 o'clock in the evening, and this is where it gets fun. You take your Epsom salts. These need to be food grade Epsom salts, okay? This is magnesium sulfate. The reason you take this is because it relaxes the bile ducts and allows them to dilate and for the stones to pass. So it's very important you take something like this. If you can't stand Epsom salts, you can use magnesium citrate, but I don't think it's quite as good. Okay, so you would take a heaped dessert spoon or a tablespoon of Epsom salts in some warm water. I think it's about 240 millilitres of warm water. You stir it and you knock it back, and that's at 6 o'clock in the evening. You must then not drink anything or eat anything, excuse the buzzing, at all for the next, so you don't eat anything at all for the rest of the day. If you're thirsty, you must wait half an hour after the Epsom salts, and then you can have a little drink of water. The idea is you must try not to drink too much water because you don't want to dilute the Epsom salts too much. You then take another dose, same dose, so a dessert spoon, rounded dessert spoonful of Epsom salts again at 8 o'clock in the evening, again with some warm water. Try not to take anything cold. Andreas Moritz says that the cold will chill the liver and I guess contract it, which is not what you want. You want the liver to be nice and relaxed. So don't have it with cold water, have it with slightly warm water. If it's really disgusting, have some juice with it, that's fine. Or chew on a gummy bear or something afterwards, that's fine too. Okay, then at 10 o'clock, so again, you can have a little bit of water, but not for half an hour after you've taken the Epsom salts. Then at 10 o'clock, you are going to take your flush mixture. Now, you need to make sure that you have finished everything that you need for the day. You're in your pajamas, you've had a wash, you brush your teeth, you got your book or whatever it is, because after 10 o'clock, you're going to need to lie down and keep still and then basically go to sleep. So just make sure you're finished with all your sort of bedtime preparations, and then you're going to make up your flush drink. Now I have to say that I find the flush drink the hardest of all. So, I can take all the rest of the stuff, but I find the flush drink pretty disgusting. There's no way around it, you kind of got to take it. Some people take a mixture of olive oil and grapefruit. This is the traditional flush drink. However, I have tried various things over the months, and I find that I prefer to take the oil by itself or sweetened with something like some cordial, and then I like to take the citrus element separately. But this is not the traditional way. The traditional way is that you blend 120 to 150 millilitres of olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is recommended. I can't really take the extra virgin olive oil because it tastes too much, I don't know, it just smells or something. So it smells too much like olive oil to me. So I take the refined stuff. Not terribly healthy, but it's needs must. So 120 to 150 mils of that, and then 180 millilitres of citrus juice. Pink or red grapefruit is recommended because it's slightly sweet and it does a good job of contracting the liver and the gallbladder. So I haven't got any grapefruits here. I don't do the grapefruit version, but you blend those two together and you get a sort of like a slightly kind of milky mixture. It's about a pint's worth. And then you stand up by your bed and you chug that down as quickly as possible. Andreas Moritz suggests that you try and get it down within 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes me a bit longer. As I say, I don't do the grapefruit one, so I take the oil first, mixed with a bit of cordial, the to get that down, and then I do the citrus, but I do like a Coca-Cola version. I'm a nutritionist. I only drink Coca-Cola when I flush. I hope that's clear. Other Cokes are available. I just find this tastes a bit better. So I juice about 4 lemons. Make sure there's no pulp in there. You don't want your body to have to digest any food, okay, because it takes away from the flush. So make sure it's just juice. So I juice about 4 or 5 lemons, and then I top it up with some flat Coca-Cola, and I drink that separately. Okay, and then, as I say, stand up, drink that, get into bed, lie down with your head raised and your body flat. And it's preferable to have a hot water bottle at this point and to put it on your liver, which I hope everybody knows where that is, but if you don't, it's under the rib cage on the right hand side. And then you try and keep absolutely still for at least half an hour, and that really is important. You mustn't move or talk or, you know, surf or watch Netflix or anything. You know, you've just got to think about your liver, apparently. Some people report that they feel things moving in the liver. I never have, and I think this is probably because I have a very congested liver. I've never produced enormous kind of stones. Other people do, but it might take a few flushes before you get to that stage. It is possible that you might need many, many flushes before you experience significant relief from your problems. It might be that within a few you feel fantastic. Everybody is different, and it depends really the level of your health already. I've done 15. I have experienced about 15% improvement in my underlying conditions, which for me is immense, since I have never had any relief, really long-lasting relief, from any interventional protocol I've tried, and I've been pursuing alternative treatments for my problems since I was 17. So that's quite a few decades. So this is the first thing. And so, you know, given how many years I was ill, I don't really expect things to be turned around overnight. However, I experienced some improvement after my first flush, and other significant flushes have also given me gains. So I have found lasting improvements. It's just that it's probably I've still got a long way to go, but that's fine. You know, I found something that works for me, and that's the most important thing. Okay, I'm going to sort of tie this up now, really. I just wanted to mention a couple of other things. If you are interested in kind of maintaining liver health in between flushes, it's recommended to flush once you start flushing. It's recommended to flush about between every 2 to 6 weeks, depending on how serious your condition is. I sometimes do flushes every 2 weeks, sometimes every 3, sometimes every 4, but every month I do it at least once a month. In between flushes, if you want something to keep your liver ticking along, I recommend some kind of green drink. These two are just examples, but a green blend of raw vegetables is really good. It helps the liver, boosts the liver's production of something called glutathione, which is a detoxification chemical, and it helps the liver detoxify heavy metals and chemicals, and also assists in the production of bile, which is what you want. It's when the bile gets thickened and stagnant, that's when you get these liver stones. So I recommend a daily smoothie or drink with some kind of green powder in. That's really good. So good luck. Any questions, please contact me on my Facebook page, Naturally Wells. Send me a message and I will do my best to get back to you. And I am available for personal one-to-one coaching should you wish to take your liver cleanse journey further, but are, you know, apprehensive or need some clarification, etc., etc. Good luck, everybody, and I will see you again soon.